It's the Gritty Boys. Tommy Lloyd gets another revenge W, making him 11-0 in revenge opportunities. You never want to cross Tommy Lloyd. We have all the breakdown and analysis for Arizona's huge victory over Texas Tech in 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere.
Kevin. Woo! I just wanted to start off a little bit of energy. I am Damon Fairall. This is the AZ Wildcats post-game show, and that is my guy, Kevin Thomas. And the Wildcats are coming off of another massive W, beating number 13 Texas Tech in McHale Center, 82-73, improving the Cats to 11-1 in the Big 12 Conference. Good for a tie for first place with the Houston Cougars. And, man, I'm feeling pretty good, Kevin. That was an awesome basketball game, and we'll get into the flaws as well. But, just starting things off, Texas Tech is a great basketball team. I think that's clear from the jump. I think it's completely obvious when you're watching them play. And they never died. But Arizona just continued to outplay them throughout the course of the game. And just what a you say it off the top, Kevin, what a gritty win. Bring me the juice, man. Just a juicy win.
The juice was worth the squeeze tonight for sure. We had another late tip-off, but it was worth it because Arizona gave us another very memorable victory.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into it, but it was a very well-rounded performance from Arizona overall. But honestly, we have to just start with this, Damon. Arizona still controls its own destiny heading into the most crucial part of the college basketball season. They remain tied atop the Big 12 at 11-1 with our new conference rivals, actually, our new conference foes, the Houston Cougars. And Damon, I'm excited to see what Arizona can do coming down the stretch because I think the last two games were, and we didn't get to really talk much about the BYU game together, but I think they were statements. Truly, I really do. I think that this Arizona team has come out and kind of told the nation, like, hey, we are, serious. The defense, championship level. The offense kind of trying to catch up still a little bit to that, but man, this team looks really good at the right time, Damon.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Kevin, you mentioned it. Let's just talk about it real quick. I was not here for the BYU postgame show. I was in New Orleans watching at a bar. Doing a little bit of networking, doing some stuff for the podcast still, Kevin, and hopefully we can talk about that a little bit later and what came to fruition out of that. But I was just watching, a couple drinks deep, maybe a little bit more than a couple, just watching Tobe Awaka dominate, man. And not a whole lot of hard-hitting analysis there, but it was a fun time in New Orleans. Go check out all of our PHNX Cardinals content from Super Bowl week. It was a great time. I also talked to T-Mac, Kevin, and we will, of course, be airing that T-Mac interview on a show later this week. What are we thinking? I'm thinking either Monday or Tuesday's show, but we'll give you an exclusive air for the first time on one of those shows. But yes, I was gone. I am now back, and the Wildcats just continue to win, no matter who's sitting in this seat. Saul came on the last show, and he was obviously filling in, did a great job. We appreciate Saul.
Shout out Saul.
We'll
hear from him later, I think, right?
What'd you say?
We're going to hear from him later tonight, right?
Yep, yeah. Absolutely. Saul is going to call in and give us the skinny on what Tommy Lloyd and all the players had to say. You didn't like that?
I didn't dislike it.
Like
I think
a 1920s
it was just, I didn't really,
newspaper reference.
I didn't expect that one out of you. You know what I mean? I just didn't expect it. So when it happened, I was like, oh, we got some new vocab from the Damon dog. The guy goes to New Orleans and all of a sudden he thinks he's a Renaissance man. You know
when
what I
is
mean?
He going to change me, brother? I'm feeling French, feeling a little bit more. Skinny feels like, that feels like a European type of thing in some situation. But I also want to take the time, Kevin, to shout out the chat real quick.
Yeah, on fire.
When we get in here. Chat's on fire already. We got Erica. We got Leah. Thank you guys, as always. We got BTFD, Samuel Romero, ND. We love you, brother. Appreciate the support. Ben, Nate, Jennifer. Thanks everybody for watching. Means the world to us. Leave a like on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. But let's get back into this game, Kevin. Arizona with a 9-point victory over Texas Tech. Very back and forth. Felt like it, you know, honestly, in a way, it felt kind of similar to how the last Arizona Texas Tech game was, in terms of just like Arizona with like a 5-point lead sustained for majority of this basketball game, kind of like Texas Tech in the reverse fixture. But and then at the end of the game, Arizona finds a way to kind of pull out, and you know, similarly to how Texas Tech did, and you know, get the kind of somewhat more comfortable win in the end, even though there was a little bit of nerve-wracking moments, as always, with this team whenever they're attempting to close out a game. But most of all, Kevin, just a really balanced victory tonight. Extremely balanced victory. And, you know, we got essentially 5 15-point performances from the guys tonight.
You're in my brain.
When Arizona's going to be playing like that and they're going to be hitting on all those cylinders, they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah. No, you literally took the words right out of my mouth. Arizona, if I usually say if Arizona has 4 players in double figures, Damon, they're incredibly hard to beat, right? Just think about the production that you're going to be getting from not only the 4 players in double digits, but it's not like the other players are going to give you 0, right? So I think Arizona is really hard to beat when they have 4. That's usually my barometer.
Yeah.
But 5? 5?
Pretty solid, man.
Man, it was a great game from Tobe Awaka, a great game from KJ Lewis, great game from Henri Veesaar as well, offensively. And these are 2 players that I kind of identified, KJ Lewis and Henri Veesaar, as 2 players that just simply were destined to have better games than they did in the first matchup. I forget exactly what they combined. I think it was like 1 for 12 in the first matchup against. You're gonna have to fact check me on that.
Yeah, they didn't play well,
but I think it was 1 for 12 in the first matchup. Damon's gonna fact check me on that. But I was talking to Saul about it yesterday on our Friday show, that there's no way that those 2 players play as poorly offensively as they did in the first matchup, and that gave me a lot of confidence for picking Arizona, knowing that the supporting cast, so to speak, is going to ball out. I'm gonna give you a stat, and we're gonna get to our by the numbers here in a second. And when we get to that, I have something crazy to tell you, Damon. But I'll start with this stat.
I'll be the judge of that.
Arizona's 30 bench points to Texas Tech's 17. I want to also keep in mind that Anderson, the freshman for Texas Tech, had 11 of those on his own. At one point, had all 11 on his own. So he couldn't carry the bench by himself, but he tried. And Arizona having 30 off the bench, how are you going to match up with that? Like it's hard to come up with 30 off of a bench unit. Night in, night out. Not saying Arizona does that night in, night out, but they did it tonight, and that's what mattered.
You know what, Kevin? I mean, we've talked about it before on post-game shows in particular. Like, this bench is kind of what is going to be, you know, what this team's biggest strength going into the, you know, the postseason portion of this year. And that's to say, because as we've talked about ad nauseum on this show, is like, Henri Veesaar is arguably a starter. I mean, I think Tobe Awaka has proven that he's, you know, he deserves that starting role in the last, you know, I don't know, 10 games or so here. He's been unbelievable. But, you know, Henri Veesaar is a starting caliber big on your bench. KJ Lewis is one of the 5 best players on this team. There's 0 question about that. He's in every closing lineup. I don't think Tommy even discusses whether or not they're going to bench KJ, even when he has, you know, some wrist or hand problems like he had earlier tonight, Kevin. But, you know, when you have guys like that, and then you have a Carter Bryant as well, who is the highest recruit from this past season's recruiting class, when you combine those 3 players and that's your bench, like, you're gonna have a better bench than almost every team you match up against, and that's where Arizona has to win that bench matchup essentially in every game if they want to win. Because we talked about this before, Kevin. I believe it was I think it was exactly in that Texas Tech game. Arizona in that Texas Tech game last time around got 14 points from their bench, and they were 2 for 10, the front court, by the way, on the Henri Veesaar and Tobe Awaka combined for 2 for 10 shooting. And Trey Townsend threw in a 2 for 9 in the reverse fixture as well. So your front court was very inefficient in that game. They score 14 bench points in that game, and Texas Tech scores 21. And that's not like an insane number, but it's a good number. And I think that it just goes to show that if Arizona's going to lose the bench points battle, they're probably going to lose the basketball game, just given the nature of how the lineups are staggered right now.
And I think you bring up a good point with Carter Bryant, because I want to point out to fans tonight that obviously we all watched the same game. We all know that Awaka, I almost said Townsend, Awaka, Lewis, and Veesaar all balled out. But it's kind of funny. They all shot 6 for 10. So a combined 18 for 30, great efficiency there.
Mhm.
Not only that, Carter Bryant was 1 for 3 with 4 points. Like, I'm not saying that to put down Carter Bryant. I'm saying the bench was incredible tonight without maybe the bench's most effective offensive talent. You know what I mean? And I think that that's the dangerous part when you're talking about how many ways Arizona can kill you on offense, coming off the bench and such. Yeah, that's what really impressed me most. Having 14, 15, and 15 from 3 players off your bench and none of them be named Carter Bryant, I think is a huge good sign for Arizona. Because another thing me and Saul were talking about on Friday is Carter Bryant, with the situation he was put in with Trey Townsend unfortunately being injured in the last game, we were kind of cautious. Like, I think a lot of people likely looked at this as a huge statement spot for Carter Bryant, right? A lot more minutes, opportunity out there, go ball out and earn it, right?
I'm glad I wasn't on the podcast all week because I would have been talking that up big time, Kevin.
Well, me and Saul were talking about the adrenaline dump that is likely to happen when he gets out there for the first time and he's kind of, okay, it's a big role for me. It's Texas Tech coming to town. It's time to hoop, Carter. And then he comes out and he's got a slow start, right? Gets 4 personal fouls and then is benched. I will say the 4th personal did feel a little ticky-tack, and I felt bad for him because he was begging to stay out there, but you can't keep him out there.
That was
4
a
fouls
ridiculous call.
Really unfortunate. Kind of halted all chance of him gaining momentum for himself in the second half. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't impressed with what I saw from Carter Bryant, but I know that this is just another learning experience for him, another opportunity to gain experience that he can reflect on going forward in this season. And so I still think it's a W for the Carter Bryant starter Bryant train. Even though he didn't play well, I still think he gained valuable experience, and the frustration he experienced will help him going forward. I think I said experience about 10 times in the last 2 sentences there, but you get the point I'm trying to make here.
Carter Bryant, he has a bit of a foul issue, I think. And excuse me, that's to be expected when you have a true freshman. That's
He's
at New
getting choked up about Carter
New
Bryant.
Orleans. Yeah, I'm so emotional. I'm just so emotional talking about my sweet baby Prince Carter Bryant. Carter has a bit of a foul problem especially I'm looking here in Big 12 games. I mean, this is let me run you down like just his last like 10 or so games from a personal foul perspective. 4-3, 4-4, 2-2, 3-3, 2-1-4. So
he has 1 game with 1 foul or less.
Yeah, and then a couple of 2s in there, but mostly 3 and 4 foul games in essentially every game. And I think Carter Bryant gets tough matchups. I think he's on ball at least, because I think that maybe he struggles a little bit more in off ball as of right now, but on ball he's seemingly pretty elite. I think they give him tough matchups, and it leads to when you're guarding the opposing team's best players, you're gonna foul more. But he needs to figure it out to an extent, because tonight, as you mentioned, big opportunity to kind of
take his claim in the lineup, right?
Or just
say these minutes are mine. Put your flag in.
Yeah, exactly. Plant the flag in the power forward position and say, this is my spot for the taking. Because Trey Townsend, we've talked about it, hasn't been very good this year, and I think that Carter Bryant can earn those minutes.
Yes.
But tonight not exactly his best game in an Arizona Wildcats uniform. But it did bring something else to the table, Kevin.
Well, wait,
no, go ahead.
I'm sure you had a killer transition that I just stomped all over. I'm sorry,
Murder.
but I did want to bring up a good point about Carter Bryant's
Murder
defense.
in cold blood.
Lock him up. And why I think he has maybe a bit of a foul issue. I think it's because a lot of times I'm noticing he's trying to get back into a play using his athleticism because he's made the wrong read or fell asleep on his guy in the corner, and now he's got to make up for it with his length and athleticism. So he's reaching, he's grabbing, he's hacking, and it results in fouls a lot of the time, right? And so I feel like while he does get a lot of fouls, I do have faith he can clean it up by cleaning up his actual fundamental defense. So I don't think that he's someone, I'm not saying you're saying this, but I don't think that he's someone that, while the numbers might indicate he has a foul problem and that he's not very disciplined on defense, I just think it's inexperience. And so I think by mid-March, we're going to be maybe not talking about the same issue with him on defense. Because in tournaments, Tommy's not going to let him give any bad fouls. It's not going to, because you can't afford that. You can't afford to have one of your best players, kind of taking himself out of the game. And so I think this will be cleaned up in short order. But it is something to monitor his defensive lapses, so to speak.
Yeah, another thing that I kind of get when I watch the games is I do feel like the refs kind of I think they play favorites to an extent. And I think a guy like KJ Lewis is just straight up allowed to be way more physical than a Carter Bryant is. Like, I don't know what it is
Ooh.
exactly, but I do
You know
think
what it is?
I do think Carter gets called for a little bit more ticky-tack fouls than the Jaden Bradleys, Caleb Loves, KJ Lewis's of the world do. I think that the refs let those guys play a little bit more, and they're quick to blow their whistle on a Carter Bryant more so. What were you gonna say?
You instantly made me think back to I was listening to some interview by Draymond Green he was doing some years back.
Yeah.
And they were talking to him about his technical foul problems,
Yeah.
right? And how, he seems to be given a longer leash than any other player in the league to MF a ref and just kind of lay into him, right?
Yeah.
And they asked him, why do you think that is? And he was kind of saying, like, they expect it from me. They expect me to start here. And if I go above, now they're going to police me. But if I start here every game, that's now my baseline. And if like I don't know, name a nice player. If like a Steph Curry on his same team, right? If a Steph Curry starts getting into a ref, the ref is almost surprised, like, Steph, whoa, this is not you. You're acting extra. You got to tee him up, right? And so I think, Carter.
There's a sliding scale when it comes to,
it's kind of all relative, right?
Yeah, what they're used to. And because I don't think that, I just think that, like, it's hard to quantify some of this stuff exactly. Like, oh, well, that's definitely a foul because of this. And, oh, that's just physical defense. Like, it's sometimes what catches the eye a little bit more. And I think it's subconscious to an extent. So with a guy like Carter Bryant, the refs are not maybe like targeting him specifically, but they just don't allow him to get away with the level of physicality that they would like a KJ Lewis, who's known to be like a very physical and up in your grill type of defender.
Way, yeah.
Yes.
He's always that way.
And so I just think Carter needs to find himself maybe in order to stop these fouls. Like, I do feel like maybe the solution is just he needs to build up a little bit more notoriety within the conference where
earn that whistle.
Exactly, where they give you a better whistle. For example, I think if he comes back for a second season, I think that he would get called for a lot less of these kind of ticky-tack fouls. But just something interesting to monitor moving forward. Mentioned it already. Kevin killed my transition brutally, viciously. Kind of bullying.
Yeah, I mean,
in a bullying.
They say I'm a bully. They say I'm a bad guy, but who cares? Because Arizona won tonight, so I don't care.
Well, Carter Bryant's foul trouble, it did lead to one like semi-positive thing, I think, that came out of this, Kevin, and that is,
talk to me.
Tobe, Awaka and Henri Veesaar played minutes together.
My God.
For really, I would say the first time at least that I can remember. But if it happened earlier this season, sorry, but for meaningful minutes, Kevin, for minutes that mattered against a really good basketball team. We had both of our centers out on the floor, and Arizona looked really good in those minutes. Henri Veesaar was, I thought his second half was unbelievable, Kevin. He did similar against ASU. Do you think that the Snowman is maybe just a second half player?
Well, snow is a second half of the year precipitation. So I think logically
that's debatable.
Is it though?
I mean, it snows a lot in January and February in places in the country.
Good point. But it starts like the inception of it is in
December.
Point is, I think yes, the snowman is rolling down the hill into a even bigger snowman right now. We'll go in that direction with it. I was incredibly impressed with both bigs, and you want to talk about how we don't know when the last time these two have played significant minutes together, if ever. I was trying to do some analytical research, looking into Evan Maya's stuff. Evan Maya barely even had a lineup with them in it that played significant amount of possessions. So it really doesn't happen a lot. And I think earlier in the year, if you had rolled these two out there and said play together, I think a lot of fans would have been a lot more skeptical just because of the way Tobe Awaka looked early in the year, the way Henri Veesaar looked early in the year. But now you combine their two skill sets, it almost kind of works beautifully, right? Because Awaka's physicality combined with Veesaar's ability to go out to the perimeter, his long length, he kind of covers a lot of ground really fast, and he's not cemented to the ground. He's able to jump, land, get another jump in there. I think it works really well together at this point in the season almost. I'm not saying you want to run it out there all the time, but if you are in a situation where you're playing a team like Texas Tech and you find the matchups you want, I have no problem with it if it's working, right? I mean, I think especially in a game where Carter Bryant isn't giving you what you think you might expect him to give you in a game. I think you go with what you got, and damn, did they ball out tonight.
Yeah, man, it looked good. It looked good. And in the reverse matchup, Texas Tech out rebounded Arizona 50-34, 16-point rebound margin there. In this matchup, Arizona wins the rebounding margin by 13, 42-29. And in large part, that was, due to the two catalysts of that there, Tobe Awaka and Henri Veesaar. Those minutes together, and even when they were not on the floor together, Kevin, I thought the rebounding was incredible.
It was
tonight.
It was.
They were, you mentioned it on one. Henri pulled down a one-handed rebound on one with his other hand occupied. And they were just physical rebounds. Like all of them were. And
ripping things away from, dude, they were fighting each other for rebounds. Not even a Texas Tech player in the vicinity. And KJ Lewis and I think it was KJ Lewis. It sounds like some KJ Lewis would do. But I think they came down with a rebound. It's KJ Lewis and Carter Bryant. No other Texas Tech player in the vicinity. KJ rips it away from Carter Bryant so viciously. Now, you know what all basketball players do when it's same team. They put their hands up like this, right? But you could just tell that it was a Carter Bryant getting the ball ripped away from KJ Lewis. He's like, whoa, same team.
KJ was like juiced up about it though. That he's counting that as another steal. KJ's like, that will be oh shoot, I thought the steal number was gonna be a little bit more available to me. KJ's like, why don't you mark that down, steal number 2 for tonight?
Yeah.
But yeah, the rebounding was tenacious. It really was. Tobe Awaka dominated in the first half, and Henri Veesaar dominated in the second half. And when you combine those, Kevin, that's a fully dominant performance from your fives in a single basketball game. In a basketball game where they were the reason probably that you lost the first matchup against Texas Tech, and just completely flipped the script tonight. And it's hard to not be pumped about that as an Arizona fan, because and you saw it from me, Kevin. I'm throwing my hat.
Damon was the most hype I've ever seen him outside of the Caleb Love shot.
Big game, man.
Yeah, it was.
I told you, there, like my hype level, and I apologize to the fine viewers of this program, who maybe wouldn't love this, but and have there's been some people that have called me out for my energy levels, Kevin, and that's fine. Yes. I appreciate the constructive criticism at all times. That being said, that I have a very, very sliding scale when it comes to my hype level especially for Arizona basketball, because my standards are so high. And I think we've talked a lot about standards with Arizona basketball fans. They should be high because we are one of those premier programs. So that being said, like when Arizona beats a West Virginia and they're up 15 the entire game without Tucker DeVries, I'm just kind of like, yeah, no, it was a good win. Fun. But when Arizona beats Texas Tech, who already beat them for a revenge matchup, and Henri Veesaar is dunking on everybody's head in the second half, and then KJ Lewis gets that putback dunk, like, I'm losing my mind, Kevin. Because that's what it's all about. And that's the type of stuff that I'm ready to just get hyped about.
Yeah, no, I guess I'll address your energy thing, because Damon really does bring the energy when it's a big moment that means something, that really going forward you're going to be like, yeah, that mattered in that basketball game. But like a random 3, a random regular dunk, not going to get Damon out of his seat. Maybe might get me out of my seat. Maybe it didn't tonight. I was pretty chill tonight. I was really chill watching this game. I was very focused on this one.
Is everything okay?
Everything's great, Damon. I was just very focused.
Kevin, no UFC tonight.
Oh man. Well, the card was buns.
Just chilling in your chair. Not really like getting hyped after beating number 13 Texas Tech.
Hey, because
if there's something you want to talk about,
I expected Arizona to win this game.
You and 350 of our closest friends here in this chat, Kevin. So why don't we just lay it out on the table?
Well, I'll tell you right now, Damon. I woke up this morning a little worse for wear because of the night prior. It kind of lasted all day. Went to the gym, still didn't go away. So I just didn't have. I wanted to save my energy for the fine people in this chat, to make sure I had something to give at the late night. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people staying up past their bedtime to listen to us two yap at each other. You know what I mean? And so I had to bring this yapping energy that I didn't want to waste in the viewing room. And that's what it is.
I started off with a Ric Flair woo. off the top.
Hey, I gave you one back, and I started out with a gritty boys.
It's true.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
that was a gritty win,
It was a
Kevin.
gritty win.
It was a gritty win.
Wait, real quick before we probably go to our first ad break of the episode, can we talk about how sometimes when a team gets nicknamed something, it's like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then every once in a while, you get a nickname I'm not saying this is an iconic all-time nickname, but you get a nickname that is so fitting, so accurate that you just have to adopt it. And not only is Gritty Boys seemingly what the team is, given themselves the moniker of, but it's accurate, man. This is a gritty basketball team that's been through a lot this season. And I think it seems, and I was talking to you during the game about this, the trash talking level seems to have gone up, but not in like a malicious way, almost in like I gotta talk mess to hype up and rise my teammates around me. And it all kind of becomes a collective energy thing. This really is a connected, gritty basketball team. And I think in the tournament, like that's where you want to be at. I forget who I was talking to, but they were saying how Tommy seems to have moved away from finesse and more towards, the balance, right? He was kind of here with the finesse to strength, and he's kind of got it back to where it needs to be in the Big 12, to where you're physical and you can do some finesse. Kind of just like Henri Veesaar, to be honest, and Tobe Awaka. But yeah, man, the Gritty Boys were in full effect tonight, and we're going to need a whole lot more of the Gritty Boys going into the rest of conference play because it doesn't get any easier. So,
Phi Slamma Jamma, Press
Fab
Virginia,
5.
Fab 5, Gritty Boys. I think those are like the best. Those are the best monikers that have been given to a full basketball team in college basketball of all time.
Hey, if Arizona goes out and does something crazy,
win a national championship.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't gonna say the words, but yeah, if Arizona goes out there and wins the national title, I mean, the Fab 5 ain't do that. Phi Slamma Jamma ain't do that.
No,
but the Gritty Boys would have. So we're gonna have a different conversation when that day rolls around. But yeah. That's all I had to say on the Gritty Boys. I'll let you cook now, Damon. I'll let you cook.
No, I got nothing left to cook, Kevin. Pantry's closed. Let's talk about some of our sponsors on the AZ Wildcats postgame show.
Well, Damon, we do love our friends over at Cornbread Hemp. Now, you might hear Cornbread Hemp and think I'm talking about two different things. But I'm not talking about two different things. I'm talking about one of the coolest products we have sponsoring us on this product. It's America's first ever USDA THC gummy. The USDA approved it, first time ever, and their mission is to improve the quality of your life with the highest quality hemp. Now, if you just need a little happy, healthy hour, ain't no better way to do it than with Cornbread Hemp. 10 milligrams of THC per gummy is just the right dose for you, and Cornbread uses nothing harsh, unlike most hemp THC products, no synthetic ingredients, Farm Bill compliant, and for legal adults over 21 only. Now, if you're looking, like I said, for a happier, healthier way to enjoy a carefree moment, you have to give Cornbread Hemp a try. They've created the first ever USDA organic THC gummy that's 100% legal. As a special offer for PHNX listeners, you can get 30% off your first order. Just visit cornbreadhemp.com/PHNX and use promo code PHNX at checkout. Again, that's cornbreadhemp.com/PHNX for 30% off your first order. Cheers to a happier, healthier happy hour.
You tried that yet, Kevin? You tried any of the Cornbread?
No,
hemp
I need to get in contact with Max and genuinely because I really want to try that. There's no way there's a company that has that cool of a name that I haven't tried. Yeah. So we got to get me in contact with that. But I'll hit up Max and we'll see what we can do.
I gotta figure out a way to get some of that in our system. Also, I'm a big cornbread guy. Another big thing that I'm a big fan of, Kevin. My friends over at Circle K.
Yes.
Erica asks, Damon, is your brain okay? Not really, but you know what? I was like, you know what I need? A nice blue Powerade over from our from the Polar Pop station at Circle K because I love Circle K so damn much, Kevin. Circle K, the Inner Circle. I popped straight in there. Polar Pops are $1, Kevin, but I'm an Inner Circle member, so I only paid 79 cents on that guy.
I mean, look at you, Damon. You're just frugal. The whole nine.
It's the easiest thing ever to sign up for. It takes 5 seconds. You plug in your phone number. You can do it at the gas pump. You can do it on the app if you download the app real quick. You enter your email, create an account, create a password, and you will get 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups at the gas pump. 3 cents off per gallon after that, and 5 cents off per gallon when you become a premium member like me or like Kevin or like any of our friends here over at PHNX. Most of us are premium members at this point. member exclusive deals and discounts all across the app on everything. So join the inner circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. I'm gonna be sipping on this nice little Polar Pop there.
Are you now, Damon? You know, I was thinking myself that I need to go to Circle K because I do need to fill up my gas tank here pretty soon. And you know, Damon, I need to diversify my Circle K snackage. I need to diversify it. I need to make it better. I need to just try all the new flavors. I need to try all the new things that they got over there at Circle K because they do have some of the best snacks in the game, Damon.
Cheap too. Kevin, real quick, I gotta ask you, what's your go-to fountain drink, Polar Pop, if you're at a gas station like that? Like, what's the move?
You know, Damon, I'm not really a soda guy. Like, I'm not like a soda guy like that.
Listen, I'm sipping on my Blue Powerade right now.
Yeah, I know, and I do love that for you. But what is yours? Is that yours? Is that your go-to there?
I do love that for you. I mean, anytime I see a Blue Powerade, I might be going for it. Like McDonald's situation, electric. Any of that. You gotta love a Blue Powerade.
Well, you know what else we gotta love, Damon? You're about to have a quick conversation with our guy Saul Bookman.
Let's do it.
Who was at the game. I'm gonna dip off to do some. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I promise I'm gonna be safe. I'll be right back. But
I'll miss you, brother.
You're gonna talk to Saul real quick. I'm gonna get some clips for you, and we're gonna get this going, Damon. So we're gonna bring Saul in here. Saul,
what's up, Saul? How we doing, my guy?
I'm so disappointed in Kevin right now. I've been sitting here forever waiting, and Carter Bryant's walking. I'm like, and I told him, like, get me on, because I would have literally just asked him a question. But Kevin's just sitting there talking about blue Gatorade or whatever the you guys were talking about from Circle K. I don't care about your damn snacks. I want to talk to Carter Bryant, damn it.
Yeah. It's reminding me a lot, Saul, of when I was in New Orleans at Radio Row, and I'm yelling at Bo and Johnny. We got Jackson Smith and Jigba right next to our station. You know, I want to get the guys to ask him a quick Marvin Harrison Jr. question about, Marv's rookie season. And I'm like, hey, cue up a video so that we can go record something real quick. And they're just not getting my vibe at all. So I'm drawing some real parallels there.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man. I feel you. Sometimes you want to take it into your own hands, but you can only do so much, especially when you're in the green room waiting to get pulled on. So you can't really use your camera to do anything with Carter Bryant. So I'm kind of hamstrung. These kids will learn some days.
If you can see Kevin right now, he's saying, "Hey, that one's on me," and he's
no, like, I know it's on him. It's not on anybody else. He's the one running the show back there. Of course, it's not. I mean, I'm not going to blame Damon. He just got off a flight from New Orleans. It's all on Kevin. Come on now. Anyway, you know what was not on Kevin? The University of Arizona basketball performance.
Yes. So Saul, what would you have asked Carter Bryant if you got the chance on air to ask him? What would you have talked about? We'll start there.
I mean, I would have just started off with, like, how to feel to get your start. To get your first start in Big 12 conference play. Like that was big time. And the way he started off, man, I was like, ooh, we might be in for a big night. Then again, the one thing that continues to hinder Carter Bryant is the fouling. And, the timeliness of those fouls. It seems like every time he gets a little bit of momentum, he makes an unfortunate error in fouling, and he ends up having to come out of the game and kind of thwarts his own momentum. So, but overall, I thought, defensively, he kind of set the tone defensively, because that first possession going down to Williams and him trying to pound him down low on the block, and then he gets a shot block. And then directly leads to a nice layup for Tobe Awaka on the other end. Like, just that was the physicality that Arizona showed all night long, and it started the first minute of the game with Carter Bryant.
Yeah, I thought Carter Bryant, his defense was pretty strong tonight. You saw Tommy Lloyd close with him, which, he wasn't having his best offensive performance, but he still trusted the freshman enough to, throw him out there when Texas Tech was trying to mount a late comeback there. What do you think goes into these fouls, Saul, when you're watching Carter Bryant play? And Kevin and I talked about it right before you got on. Lots of 3 and 4 foul games in the Big 12 as of late. What are you seeing from Carter Bryant that is leading to some of those fouls? Do you think that it's something that we can kind of weed out of him by the time that it gets to conference tournament and March Madness?
I hope so. I think I really I feel like it's first of all, it's a freshman. Like, and I know he might have been all everything, but he's still a freshman. And to handle the physicality at the college level, especially the Big 12, the Big 12 is not anywhere near where the Pac-12 was. It just is not. It's in a whole nother category.
Yeah.
The physicality that these teams are bringing every single night cannot be matched by anything you've seen Arizona play against before in a conference. So I think it's that adjustment of trying to understand the physicality that you're allowed to have versus the physicality that the refs will not allow you to have. And I think in this instance, a couple times, those cookie cutter fouls, like dropping your hands on some guy's arm, that's always going to get called. Reaching in right when the guy's about to turn into you, that's always going to be a call, right? You showing physicality and, maybe even having your hands on a guy's back as he's trying to back you down, they're going to let that go. They've been letting it go all season. But it's those small little, fundamental errors that refs are just not going to let you have, especially if you're a freshman, that he's just got to learn how to clean up. And I asked Tommy in the postgame because I thought, KJ kind of had this problem at the beginning of the season where he was just too physical, and he was getting some kind of careless fouls, and he was kind of throwing himself out of whack. I asked if he sees any similarities. He's like, yeah, I actually do. And he said that, he'll adjust and he'll get better as the season goes on, just like KJ did. So hopefully he'll learn from those mistakes and be better for it.
No doubt about that. You mentioned the Big 12 and just how different the conference is from last year and, the last 15 years or so to now. It really is stark when you watch it. Even the lower teams in the Big 12 are like a team like Kansas State that you're very familiar with. Like, they had a rough start to the season, and now they're just knocking off the top dogs in the Big 12 left and right. Like, that's a tough as hell place to play. And they look to be like a team that is no joke at all, and they're in like 8th place in the Big 12 at this point. I really love the way Tommy built this team around trying to find Big 12 basketball players. It feels like this team is made for this conference in a way that past Arizona teams wouldn't have been built in that way. But one thing I have seen him that we saw tonight, him bring in from past seasons was, we used to see a lot of 2 center lineups with Ballo out there and with Koloko, and they would throw them both out there together. And I believe that Ballo and somebody else as well, we would see from time to time. But tonight we saw Awaka and Henri Veesaar play together and get some run together. What did Tommy have to say about that front court pairing and those guys playing in post game?
Well, he said that, that was kind of the plan overall all along. Now, he didn't think it was going to be Veesaar and Awaka because he thought it was going to be Krivas and a combination of those other two, right?
Yeah.
But obviously with Krivas out, you have no choice. Those are your only 2 bigs. And he loves the physicality that they brought. The head coach from Texas Tech, Grant McCaslin, he said that Arizona's physicality was just dominant tonight, and it was clear from the jump how dominant those 2 guys were the head of the snake in that regard. I think they both combined for about 29 points, 19 rebounds or something like that. Like, Tobe Awaka and his physicality is something they both present physical traits in different ways. Tobe is going to enforce the contact. He is going to force you to have to man up and get your big boy pants on because he's coming. He's going to hit you hard. He's going to hit you often, and he's going to take advantage of you if you're not ready for it. Whereas, Veesaar is a little less physical in terms of body contact, but he tries to use his length to be able to block your shots.
Yeah,
he gets vertical, and that's the other thing is his verticality when guys are trying to attack him has been I think this whole team's verticality. Every single time somebody tries to take it to the rack, they go straight up every single time.
Yep.
But it's in such a great way because they kind of, it's really subtle. They get their body to touch the guy before he's ready for it while also going vertical. So it gives you the impression that they're in legal guarding position, and it works out a lot of the time. It's just the small things. And Tommy was actually talking about when they were at Texas Tech, that they were getting kind of knocked off of their own lanes to the basket too many times, causing them to do just funky shit at the rim. And now they are the ones that are kind of throwing Texas Tech off their game a little bit tonight. and just enough for them to just miss a bunny or miss a wide open shot or whatever. And again, these are the nuances that somebody asked me on in the Discord, do I feel better about Arizona going into the tournament? Now, we always know that's a crapshoot. You don't know who you're going to play or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that physically and defensively, they will not get overwhelmed by any team in the country. I think they will be ready to go every single game in the tournament. That I do know and I do believe, because I think the Pac-12 kind of set you up for failure sometimes because of the kind of the more freestyle kind of play and less physical. And then they get to a tournament and they'd match up against somebody that was more physical to them, and they just could not adjust. It took them too long to adjust. And by the time they did adjust, they lost and they're bounced in the second round or the third or in the Sweet 16. This year, if they get beat, it's because somebody's going to shoot the lights out against them. I just genuinely don't believe that they're going to get overwhelmed physically by anybody.
I'm totally with you there. When the move first happened from the Pac-12 to the Big 12, like I'm such a Pac-12 guy, and I love the Pac-12, and just the rivalries with the teams and in the cities that were involved. Like it was such a just a good group. But that being said, like the number one thing that came to mind immediately was this team. This team, when it comes to March Madness and a single elimination basketball tournament, is going to be so much more well prepared to go up against the type of teams that you're going to see in that tournament, because it's essentially like a tournament game every night in the Big 12. It's on their commercial, when their basketball commercial, they say that literally, and it's so true. Texas Tech,
like
you mentioned the defense from Arizona tonight. It was unbelievable, and I think it really jumped off the screen at you. But Texas Tech did have a pretty good 3-point shooting night. Was there anything from a 3-point defensive perspective that you thought led to Texas Tech making 12 threes on pretty decent efficiency, or do you think that was just a factor of they hit some shots?
I mean, Williams hit 5 and he only scored 17.
Yeah.
5 of those were threes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was the one that was cashing in the most. I thought that they had a couple lapses on defense. Really, there was 2. One at the end of the half. That was for 2 points, not 3. But they had a possession, a couple possessions before that where it was just a wide open 3 because somebody just lost their man, got a wide open shot. And I think Arizona was up by. They were up by 9 at that point, and then all of a sudden Lee was cut to 3. And then in the second half, it happened once or twice again. Like there was an inbounds, and they were playing music on the. I thought it was a timeout. They inbounded on the ball and got a wide open 3 because every U of A player down here was just like not even paying attention, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh shit, it's too late."
Yeah.
So and then other than that, like listen, sometimes with the screen game, the pick and roll game, like every now and then you're going to get caught. You got to adjust. You got to, and Arizona was really careful about getting out on the 3 too much because Texas Tech isn't one of the greatest 3-point shooting teams in the country or in the Big 12. So they did just enough to be able to affect it. But I thought Texas Tech got a little uncharacteristically out of their own game by chucking up so many threes. I didn't think that they nearly took advantage of some of their speed and athleticism at the rim. But that's also in large part because Arizona's, I mean, we're talking about what, three weeks removed from the last time we played Texas Tech, and how much they have improved defensively just from that point. It's unbelievable. I have not seen a team find a defensive identity this fast and this significant, I don't think ever. They are just on another level defensively. Watching Jaden Bradley, KJ Lewis, and Caleb Love at the top, when we thought those 3 were going to be relied on to score, those 3 are probably the toughest trio of guards you could possibly face in the country defensively. Caleb Love's defense has just been phenomenal in these last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then Jaden Bradley's always been that dude. KJ Lewis has been that guy. And KJ's performance tonight I thought was underrated. He did so many great things in that second half. I know people were riding him, Damon, about his performance in the first half. He had some careless turnovers. Let's be real about that.
3 in a row.
He more than made up for it in the second half by his defense. He hit some clutch shots. He hit some big shots. I'm just really happy for KJ Lewis because he deserved that because he got banged up pretty good.
I think KJ Lewis, this is kind of a toss-up for me, but I think KJ Lewis might be the most fun to watch player on the team just because even on the defensive side of the ball, like you could just watch him off ball, the way he's moving around screens. It's unbelievable, the energy that guy brings. And yeah, I mean, the defense this defense is, you're so right. Like the identity that they've found recently, Jaden Bradley, just the rock of this team. Caleb Love, totally different defensive player than what we've seen in the past. Not that he was like horrible, but I feel like we've seen like a very good defender this season rather than just kind of like an average one. And KJ Lewis is taking it to another level where he might even be like the best defender in the entire conference. We always ask Erica this, Saul, so I'll throw it to you as well. What was kind of the
What is my guy
McHale
doing right here?
Yeah,
What is my
what's
guy
our guy
doing?
doing over here? Just taking some
That's funny.
selfies?
It's just like, hey.
Yeah, man. It's McHale Center. It's world famous, and that was where I was going with
Sorry,
my
what was
next
your
question.
question? I got
What was the energy tonight at McHale? You had some tweets about it being insane in there.
Dude, it was loud. It was loud. I wasn't here for the Iowa State game, so I don't know how loud that was, but it was crazy loud in here. The loudest I've heard it probably since me personally, since UCLA was here college game day when they were number 3. I think we were number 5 in the country. It was crazy, right? But this was way louder. Like I felt like this was even louder than that. The student section, props to the Zona Zoo. Those dudes, those dudes and gals
Mm-hmm.
all showed their love tonight. They were loud. They were raucous. It was a fun environment. They weren't like over the top, like rude or anything like that. Like it was just great all the way around. Even Texas Tech's coach was like, that was a great environment. That was a fun environment to be a part of. And you got to give credit to Arizona for showing up and balling out the way they did.
How much of that do you attribute to the fire alarm situation, just getting people just revved up and ready to go?
Bro, that's it started during the Texas Tech intros. And I was like, why are they playing the alarm? Because I thought it was just actually no, it started during the video,
Mm-hmm.
the montage video that they play.
Yeah.
And then it kept going into the Texas Tech lineups. And then Arizona was getting and I was like, turn that shit off because Carter Bryant's about to get announced. This is his first start, man. You got to cut off the alarm. And it just kept going. And I was like, I don't remember this last time. And then I just sat there and then the guy next to me was like, I think the fire alarm's going off. And then I looked and then people had their phones out. I don't know why they had their phones out, but then there was lights. I could see the fire alarms all the way around the building that were flashing. And I was like, oh, I was like, oh man, I hope this isn't serious, but it was just a
Yeah.
false alarm. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it seemed like it was pretty wild in there. Everybody was tweeting about it that was inside McHale tonight. Real quick, Saul, before we get you out of here, any final thoughts on anything that Tommy said in presser or players that they really stuck out to you?
I love that he gave Bruce Pascoe shit for calling. He said, what did you think about their environment versus our environment? That's what Tommy asked Bruce Pascoe. And Bruce was like, I thought their environment was great. I thought, this environment was good. He was like, oh, we're just good. And he's like,
Big
no, they were
J
both
answer.
good. He was like, oh, we're just good. We're not great. And he just gave him such a hard time about it. I thought that was awesome. But the other thing about Tommy was that he just loves the fact that this team is continuing to learn how to build upon themselves. And he really pointed to Veesaar and Awaka and their development. He took a lot of pride in terms of like, that's what we do here. We develop guys. And he's right. Like guys from the jump, Benedict Mathurin, like he was good his first year, but he wasn't what he was in that second year under Tommy.
Yeah.
Like, damn near a first round pick for the Pacers. Like, and then you see like Keshad Johnson, same thing. Like just, guy that's averaging like 4 or 5 points over at San Diego State. He comes here and all of a sudden you're like, oh man, this dude is super athletic. He can shoot the 3. He can get out and run, transition, great defender. Like, why wouldn't you want to draft this kid?
Yeah.
And now you're seeing with Tobe Awaka, and Tobe Awaka has slowly improved from beginning of the season offensively to not only being dominant, but now he's almost an automatic bucket down low. I never thought I was going to say that this year. I mean, you give it down low. I'm like, I feel really good about Tobe Awaka's chances down low. Like, that's just what it is. And then Veesaar, same thing. Like, so I just think the development overall is what he's really proud of. And they know they still got a long way to go. And like you said, they got to go to Manhattan, Kansas. I'm very familiar with that, obviously, because I went to K-State for 1 year before coming here and finishing up my degree. And the Octagon of Doom, I was there in 2014 when they played Kansas. And they beat Kansas, Kelly Oubre's Kansas team. And I rushed the court. It was the only time I was able to do a court storm because we don't do that here in Arizona. But I did it there at Kansas State. And I rushed the court, and that was the game where Bill Self got checked against the sideline by students, and he was not happy afterwards, which I thought was kind of funny. But that place is a really, really tough place to play, and Arizona better be ready to go. I know everybody was talking about BYU a week ago. I feel like this is probably more of a letdown situation than that is, because those guys, those students will be ready. It's going to be a fun environment. I can't wait to watch that game. But Arizona has all the tools to be able to win anywhere in the country at any time, and I'm confident that they'll be able to go to Manhattan, Kansas, and show them who the real Wildcats are in this conference.
Yep. Arizona, of course, got that game coming up against Kansas State in the next one. He is the host of the McHale Madness podcast. When are you guys going live this week, Saul? Thursday?
It'll be on Thursday. On Thursday. Yep, this Thursday at 7 p.m. live.
Make sure you guys are watching that, subscribe to this channel, and liking all those videos. Saul, thank you so much for your time and helping out today.
Oh, of course. Appreciate you guys.
All right, Kevin. Now that we got you,
I'm back.
Yeah, we got Kevin a little bit of honey, some tea.
Orange. I got a nice orange slice as well.
Had him
really high quality orange slice.
Rest that voice a little bit. Let's talk about some more sponsors here.
Let's do that exact thing. Well, Damon, while I was in my little isolation chamber, my sensory deprivation chamber, one of my biggest senses that I wish I had was touch, so that I could have a Branded Bills hat on my head. Because the Branded Bills hats, Damon, they are probably, no, not probably, they are the most comfortable thing I've ever put on top of my head.
You mean this guy, Kevin?
Yeah, that guy, the one behind you. There's a white camo. They have a black camo. They have all different types of Branded Bills hats. So if you want to elevate your brand, do it with Branded Bills. They got truckers. They got tees. They got fitteds. They got dad hats. They got really, almost literally any kind of apparel or hat that you could desire with Branded Bills. The company started right here in Arizona. It started in Mesa, so it is a homegrown company. They have partnerships with U of A as well, obviously, and they do charity work with ASU, so isn't that nice of them to do? But make sure to check out Branded Bills. Head to brandedbills.com and use code PHNX for 20% off your first order. That is brandedbills.com, code PHNX for 20% off your first order.
Kevin, I was out at Super Bowl. Trey McBride was out there as well, and he was repping Branded Bills the whole damn time. Branded Bills it was going crazy over at Radio Row in New Orleans. I saw it on a couple other people as well. It's getting to be kind of a worldwide type of brand.
Yeah. Started
here in our sweet, humble little valley, similar to the Carroll Royce real estate team. Kevin, call Carroll 480-776-5231 or visit Carroll Royce's website. If you're looking in the home purchasing business, Carroll and her team have an unbeatable track record. They've sold over 12,000 homes in the valley. 12,000, Kevin.
That's a lot of lumber.
It is indeed a lot of homes. And everyone knows that choosing the right agent is going to be the biggest decision that you make because it's going to be the biggest purchase that you make, really. So, getting a team that cares about you and that's family oriented is going to be important. And Carroll and her team are going to do that exactly. So if you're considering buying a home in 2025, the name to trust is Carroll Royce, your home sold guaranteed realty. Move up to one of our listings and we'll buy your home for cash. Have questions, call today or visit Carroll online at carrollroyceteam.com. That's carrollroyceteam.com.
I love to see that, Damon. And while I was in my little solitude moment, my little enclosure, I realized we didn't really discuss the numbers of this basketball game.
No.
We didn't really break down the numbers.
We have not.
So let's go to our By the Numbers here for Arizona versus Texas Tech. Your By the Numbers presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union named by Forbes. Just a little company called Forbes. Arizona gets the 82-73 point win. They cover. Good teams win. Great teams cover. Damon, for those that care. Field goal percent 52-37. 3-point percent 36-31. Damon,
a little misleading too.
Yeah, at one point
that 3-point percentage because Tech hits 12 and Arizona hits 4.
Yeah.
So huge difference there in actuality, but continue.
Yeah. 18 assists, 15 assists respectively, 14 turnovers for Arizona, 9 for Texas Tech. And then also, Damon, steals and blocks. Cornering the stock market is all Arizona knows how to do. Like I said, it's only a matter of time before Tommy Lloyd is locked up for insider trading because clearly he dominates the stock market. just like, anyone that knows anything about, the stock market, right? Tommy
Yeah.
Lloyd is the king of Wall Street. Tommy Lloyd.
Clearly, me and Kevin, not the guys that know a whole lot about the stock market.
Yeah, you see, I was going somewhere with that, and I was like, I don't even have the reference material to,
Yeah, it's
to
like
do anything with that.
Yeah, 404 error user found. There's no more stock puns to make in the old noggin there.
Yeah, my brain was like the PlayStation Network, currently down.
Tell me, Kevin, did Arizona win the stock battle versus BYU?
No.
Really?
I don't think they did. I think because I remember talking to Saul about it. I think I mentioned.
I was not expecting.
You can go back and fact check me on that, but I think that Arizona lost the stock market battle, and I had to tell Saul like, well, usually we win this all the time, and me and Damon talk about it, but we can't today because
by one.
Yeah, because they lost the stock market battle.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty heart crushing.
It's devastating.
Yeah, it's devastating. But they get back on track today.
I almost kind of want an L on the game. Like, we don't deserve that W.
That's like what I do. People at home, sometimes I'm watching games, and if Arizona loses the tip, I just go, oh, lost a tip, game's over. Pack it up. We lost.
Call it,
over.
yeah.
But in all seriousness, there was a number that I don't know if people saw me at home. I was looking over here at my laptop in the first part of the show, and my eyes bugged out of my head. Because I was thinking to myself, I was like, I think Arizona has really been putting a focus on paint touches on offense, right? They don't have a go-to offense, and that's okay. Well, it's not really okay. But if you don't have a go-to offense, right, what do you got to do? Go back to the fundamentals, right? Paint touches on every possession. And the disparity tonight between points in the paint for Texas Tech and Arizona. Texas Tech, 28 points in the paint. Not a lot, right? Arizona, 48 points in the paint, 20 more points in the paint than Texas Tech. And Saul was speaking to the physicality of this Arizona team. That's a huge part of it. Like being able to go up strong down low. Tobe Awaka's touch, I mentioned it on one of our recent post games, but it keeps continuing to get better. He hit went under the basket, hit a little reverse layup as well in this game. Yeah. I didn't even know his bag just keeps getting deeper. It's crazy.
Kevin, if you went on some of our early post-game shows that we did together,
I don't do that.
You would hear me and you saying some crazy things about Tobe Awaka doesn't have any offensive game or any ability.
I believe we said that a dunk, just a simple dunk that Henri Veesaar did. I think we said that Tobe Awaka.
You don't have to say we on that one.
But I was there backing you up on it. So I added myself into the army on that one. So you were saying that not only would Tobe Awaka never do that, he can't do that, and he won't ever do that. And here he is slapping us with duct tape over the mouth, saying, "Shut up, shut up. You don't know nothing about nothing," because he is balling and he is getting better game by game, getting more confident game by game. And it's like he's leveling up. It's like he's getting stronger every game. He has yet to reach his final form, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, Tobe Awaka has been incredible for this team recently. He was great in the first half, in particular of this one. And, just as you say, he just continues to get better and better as we go on. Kevin, I wanted to bring this up to you real quick because it came across my Twitter timeline right now, and I was just, it's very
breaking news? Question mark?
No, not breaking news. Just very like interesting based off of how me and you saw the game play out. But first, I want to tell you guys, if you are watching with our streaming partners, head on over to gophnx.com. The party will continue. Kevin and I are going to finish up wrapping up some Arizona basketball talk from tonight's 9-point W against Texas Tech.
Hell yeah.
And we're going to have to hand out a player of the game to somebody, Kevin. So stay tuned for that.
A lot of good options, though.
Like I said, gophnx.com. Head on over there. So plus minus, Kevin.
Talk to me.
From this game, JG Trends, good follow on Twitter.
He's been killing it with that this season. Yeah, I don't remember seeing that last season. I'm sure he did it, but this year he's killing.
Yeah, been great with the plus minus numbers, getting him quick up after games. Kevin, would you like to guess who led the team in box plus minus tonight?
All right. I'm not cheating. I'm looking at minutes. I'm looking for minutes here because it doesn't show me on my screen the plus minus. It doesn't show me on the screen the plus minus. So I'm guessing that it wasn't Jaden Bradley because he played too many minutes. So I'm assuming that it's not Jaden Bradley. I don't think it's going to be Caleb Love. Was it Tobe Awaka?
Tobe Awaka had a +3 tonight. He was 5th on the team.
So not Tobe Awaka. Well, my second guess then would be, damn, KJ Lewis has some turnovers, though. Damn. But they only had 7 points off turnovers in general, so they weren't punishing him. KJ Lewis?
-1.
Oh my God, I'm awful.
Second
I'm
lowest
so bad.
on the team.
Turn it off. Just tell me. I don't deserve a third shot at that. That was awful. Oh my God. I swung out of my shoes on both ones.
I tweeted it already, Kevin. The second I saw this, I had to get it out. Just a quick little first thing that came to mind. I guess it's an eye test kind of night because Arizona's leader in plus minus tonight was Carter Bryant with a +22. It wasn't even close. Next up, Kevin, Anthony Del Orso, +10.
Deli, if you will, if you're into that sort of thing.
So Arizona's leaders in plus minus in this basketball game were Anthony Del Orso, who I believe scored 2 points tonight, and Carter Bryant, who also scored 2 points, didn't he?
Yeah.
He scored 4.
Yeah.
Sorry, he got another one in late. So yeah, the two leaders in plus minus tonight were Anthony Del Orso and Carter Bryant. Take that what you will. Some people will say goes to show plus minus in a singular game means nothing. I like to use it to back up my eye test personally. So when it doesn't, I throw it to the side, say whatever. But Carter Bryant, he was good defensively, and there was a reason that Tommy kept him in the game and closed with him tonight, and that was because he was providing some positive output onto the team. But it's just interesting when you have Jaden Bradley, Caleb Love, KJ Lewis, Henri Veesaar, who are so jump off the screen. Tobe Awaka, like they're taking over the game at times, and their plus minus is towards the bottom of the team. So very, very interesting. Lose my daddy puts in here. Tech went on a run when Carter got his 4th foul, and he thinks that's why Tommy called the timeout. I think that's a good point there. Tech kind of closed the gap a little bit more, made it a little bit of a closer game. But yes. I think Henri Veesaar as a negative there is pretty interesting because it really felt like that second half that he just took it completely over, Kevin.
It really did. I don't think I ever in my life would have predicted this many great get out of your seat kind of dunks. Excuse me, this season from Henri Veesaar.
He's so athletic.
So athletic, right?
Like Tobe Awaka is so physical and he's great at what he does. The touch is rounding out, like he gets every rebound. But Henri Veesaar unlocks just and Saul said the verticality, like just the athleticism he brings to the table. Teams can't defend that because that's an NBA big from an athleticism standpoint. Like I remember when and I've talked about this before, when he committed, Kevin, I remember watching like one video of him getting the ball and just tomahawking on a guy's head and thinking to myself,
Koa Pete style.
Like, holy hell. Well, that one was even different.
Yeah,
that was
crazy.
That looked like,
That looked like Anthony Edwards dunking over what's his face.
Yeah, it did look like Anthony Edwards.
Oh my God, what's his name?
McDaniels?
Yuta Watanabe.
Yeah.
When on the baseline. Yeah. Continue though.
Yes, you're right. That did look like Anthony Edwards. But Veesaar, like he's throwing down he's clearly like, he's rising up, hammering down with power on the finish, and like I remember thinking to myself immediately, oh, this guy's a player, because you don't see that from somebody who's 7 foot tall, who can jump like that and has coordination like that, and it turns out to be nothing. Obviously, it was a rough start for Henri, but clearly that was that was a piece of his game and an element of his game that was always going to come to fruition if he could figure out some of the other stuff. And if you just throw Henri Veesaar the ball and get him running towards the rim, man, you better get out the way, Kevin.
Yeah, you really have better get out the way, because Henri Veesaar, I think what impresses me most in specific to his dunks are, I said it earlier, when you look at a player like Henri Veesaar, I think your assumption, whether it's right or wrong, is going to be that they have cement shoes, that they're not going to be as mobile as a guy like Henri Veesaar. Henri Veesaar is incredibly mobile.
Mobile.
Like, you spoke to his athleticism, but it's not just his pure athleticism, it's his lateral quickness, it's his ability to recover, it's his I'll say reload time on jumps, right? He can jump, land, jump again. And I think like it's that kind of stuff that you don't see with your average everyday big. Even the good bigs, you don't see that with every good big. But you see it with the guys that go to the NBA. You do. And I think he has been, I mean, it's getting a long list, but he's been one of the great surprises of the Arizona basketball season, has Henri Veesaar. And I wanted to shout out AZ Cats G, who said, I told you he is Henri the Hammer. Because when I brought up the snowman thing, because we heard it on the broadcast, AZ Cats G said, I don't know, I think Henri the Hammer kind of goes harder.
Beast.
And it kind of was clairvoyant, because Henri be hammering it down. He really do. And he AZ Cats G also sent in a super chat, says, great seeing you guys tonight. Bear down. We appreciate you, AZ Cats G, for tuning in. We appreciate all of you guys for tuning in to the chat. If you are in the chat, make sure to leave a like. If you're already here, why not leave a like? You know?
Takes 2 seconds, helps Kevin sleep at night. It's very simple.
I'm going to need it tonight. I'm definitely going to need some sleep tonight. So leave me a like for sure so I can get some nice rest. And you know the dunk was ferocious when you got the wife saying, throw it down, big man. Let him have it, Henri.
An ode to Bill Walton. And may God rest his soul. Yep. Lost Highway says his launch distance is elite.
Yeah,
can take off from damn near the free throw line.
Great take.
That's 100% true. He like that one tonight, Kevin, where it was a pick and roll type scenario. I think Caleb Love got him the basketball, run into the basket, full head of steam. Just phenomenal catch from Henri Veesaar. Immediately just launches from his spot far out, and there was a Texas Tech guard in the vicinity, and the dude damn near ran under the baseline to get out of the way because he knew exactly what was coming. But yes, Henri Veesaar. I think I would go as far to say the surprise of the season.
I'm with you. Like he's 1A or 1B, I think.
I mean, the guy wasn't even really in the rotation, Kevin.
No, I'm with you, but I would raise a glass for Tobe Awaka in this conversation because
he's gotten a lot better.
While yes, we might have had higher expectations for him coming into the year than we had of Veesaar, right? The games that we were talking about in the first month of this season, you and I were saying like, Tobe Awaka, like he's not bad, but he might not be good.
Very true.
And for him to go from that space with the fan base to developing and keeping the confidence in himself to fight through a slow start with a new team, and not only a slow start with a new team as an individual, a team that is 4-5 after being preseason top 10. So I have a lot of admiration for the way Tobe Awaka has fought and developed this season, and I think that deserves a shout in the most surprising player of the year conversation. But I ultimately do think Henri Veesaar likely wins it if we're giving an award for most surprising, breakout player or something like that. But yeah, I think Awaka deserves a shout.
Jerry B 199 super chat says Dirtbags in Phoenix was rocking tonight. Wish I could have been there, brother. We got to get Dirtbags involved in this fine program, Kevin.
Yeah,
our friends over at Dirtbags. I mean, is there ever been a more perfect match made in heaven?
I don't think so. I've matched up with many a Dirtbags in my life. I've been to a Dirtbags many a times in my life, and I think that if Dirtbags wanted to bestow upon us the great honor of being the official podcast of Dirtbags, you know what I mean? I think that would be huge. That'd be so massive. You know what I mean? Me and Damon Dog on the patio in Tucson, people just smoking cigs all around us. We're just doing a pod, ripping a post-game show. We don't care. It's about the vibes. It's about the vibes in Tucson. That's all it is. Great vibes, great people, great bars.
Walking to TB afterwards.
Oh my God.
Get myself a nice cantina box. Those who know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Another thing, if you know, Kevin, is, and this is gonna get deep in the weeds of online Twitter arguments.
Oh boy.
Texas Tech fans, you lose cactus access.
Oh my God,
it's done. I know you won the reverse fixture. I know this. It's 1-1 on the season. I know y'all beat us in football too. But Saguaros only are in the Sonoran Desert, my man. And I just, I feel like I really do feel like we reclaimed the saguaro cactus emoji tonight, Kevin.
Is this a safe space?
Debatable.
Trusting tree?
It's debatably safe.
I wanted to say that Arizona is the king of the cacti, right?
Ooh, I don't know if I like where this is going to go.
No. Hear me out. This is an anti-Texas Tech fan thing that I'm about to say. Nothing to do bad with Arizona.
Didn't feel like it. Felt like you were prefacing it by saying like,
I think it was.
There's enough cactus.
No.
To
That's not what I'm saying. No. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying this is the dumbest narrative I've seen on social media in a minute, because the people and I love our Arizona fans that were trying to dunk on the Texas Tech fans, right? But you got baited. That photo, all those photos were AI, and people were responding like it was really the Texas Tech campus, and they're like, well, there are more saguaro in this one photo that I took on my hike than in this photo. Yeah, because they're not real. At the bottom right, it says created by Grok. You know what I mean? Ain't no field of saguaros in the middle of Texas Tech's campus. What are we talking about? It's the silliest thing ever. I loved it for all the silly little beef back and forth. But like, I'm glad you brought it up because I was thinking about this today. I saw someone respond to that little fake image and they were like legitimately annoyed that someone was trying to claim Saguaros. And it's like, you got baited.
Listen, man,
we have to do better as Arizona fans. Fight the battles that matter.
You can't always please everybody online, Kevin. And
actually, you can never please people online.
And not everybody like understands jokes, nuance, comedy, satire. For example, I tweeted. I took a picture of T-Mac and Travis Hunter talking on Travis Hunter's podcast on the Overtime Set at Radio Row a couple of days ago. Yeah, 3 days ago now. And I said, the best wide receiver in the Big 12, ... and Travis Hunter.
Real?
I think, I say that, Kevin, immediately your mind goes to?
Fact. That's the first word I thought of was fact, but also Bolitnikov.
But I'm like, you look at the picture.
That was not the right answer. What was the right answer in that scenario?
Just that you like at the picture. You look at the picture, you see the tweet, and you say to yourself, oh, he's saying T-Mac's the best receiver in the Big 12.
Yeah, he's an Arizona fan.
Because he said, and Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Someone in my comments, an Arizona fan, responded, and shout out Michael. He said,
"Which one?
You want me to fully dox him?
No, I don't dox a person. I'm just saying, like,
he lives at 2342. No, he said
that Social Security is gonna be 1, 2, 3.
Michael fears, and he just didn't understand. So I wasn't really trying to just cook him alive. But yeah, he didn't get him. He didn't get the joke. He was saying no, he isn't / wasn't the best wide receiver in the Big 12. Was / is Tetaroa McMillan. Hunter was the best athlete in the Big 12.
Sometimes you just misread something.
Exactly what I said.
Yeah. But sometimes you just misread something. Your brain flips two things. You should probably go back and do another read, but every once in a while you just get caught up in the.
He did tweet at me twice about it.
Okay, that's a different situation.
Yeah, but yes, goes to show that just not everybody's looking into everything so much. They just they barely read it and they get enraged and then they got to get their takes off.
Yeah, no, you said it is hard to please people on the internet, but I do have something that will make everyone happy, Damon. I think I do have one thing that can make everyone happy, and that is our player of the game, Damon. Our player of the game, Jaden Bradley. This player of the game is brought to you by Neutral Hard Vodka Seltzer with real juice and authentic ingredients. Keep it tasty, Tucson. And Jaden Bradley was keeping it real tasty out there. He was getting all his licks in. 5 steals tonight, Damon. 5. Count them on your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 assists as well. 16 points on the night for Jaden Bradley. Could not be more impressed with this team defense, but to an extent that starts with Jaden Bradley, right? I mean, obviously I think KJ Lewis is the engine, but if we're talking guards, you have to have Jaden Bradley holding it down, and he did that tonight, Damon. What do you think about Jaden Bradley's performance, and why was he player of the game for us tonight?
If KJ Lewis is the engine, then Jaden Bradley is like the body of the car. He's
wait. This is a fun analogy. Keep cooking. I'm gonna think.
Okay, yeah, we'll make every player a piece of a car at some point on this.
That's really fun.
Tobe Awaka is the wheels.
Is Tobe Awaka the emergency brake of our Honda Civic?
but yeah, I mean, I think I here's a simpler term, and I think that we can both agree on this. Jaden Bradley is absolutely the rock of this team.
Yes.
Like every game, this guy brings it night in and night out, Kevin. It does not matter.
He is the metronome. No matter what is happening in the song, Jaden Bradley's going to be doing this the whole time. Don't keep in pace.
Reality is we could probably give Jaden Bradley player of the game for that performance every single game because he does almost exactly that every single game. 15 and 5. I think he's averaging about 12 and 5 this year, 12 and 6. So like that's essentially where he's at. And it's always on decent efficiency, and it's always without a huge amount of turnovers and a positive assist to turnover ratio. It's always with steals and with defense. And this guy, he does it night in and night out. And when you play the point guard position, that's absolutely ideal because we're going from the Kylan Boswell days of I talk a little bit more off air about this stuff, Kevin, because it's, I don't love to come on here and just be like, we hate all of our players that left us. Because that's not the case. I'll root for Umar Ballo and whatnot. But Kylan Boswell and like just like everything that came with, his tenure at Arizona and Illinois fans and how they've acted and since his transfer, like it's become kind of a culmination of just really unlikable negative things. But Kylan Boswell, when at Arizona, Kevin, was like, how many times did we get like 1 for 6 with 4 turnovers and 4 assists and like just kind of like gave up like easy threes on defense to his man? And it's just like Jaden Bradley, he doesn't do any of that, man. He steps up and he's consistent every freaking night.
Yeah.
And it's just it's incredible. It's incredible to watch. And yeah, I mean, if we'll do end of season awards absolutely when this season is over, and hopefully, you know, nets are cut down. But I'm willing to say Jaden Bradley's going to be the MVP of this season. Like he has been from the start. He is now. It's halfway through. I expect it to be that way in the finish as well.
And you know what I think is most
100%
pertinent to the reason why Jaden Bradley would be the MVP of this season for Arizona, honestly, no matter how it ends for me, is because he did his part to steady Arizona and keep them from crashing the car when they were 4-5.
Yeah.
Right. Jaden Bradley is a huge reason why Arizona is even able to compete for a conference championship anyway. Because without Jaden Bradley, Arizona at 4-5 is maybe not even 4-5, right? And I think Jaden Bradley deserves a ton of credit for the way he has fought this season, the way he's been consistent. The only guy who's been brought it every night, like you said. And he's our player of the game tonight. He could have been our player of the game a couple nights ago. He could have been our player of the game a couple nights before that. He doesn't always do it with scoring, but anytime you have a player that's getting 5 steals, it doesn't matter if he's putting up 25 plus. It doesn't matter if he's putting up 12 points plus. Jaden Bradley is an incredible player. Very thankful he's on our basketball team. I want to give honorable mentions to Tobe Awaka for his performance as well. Tobe Awaka had 14 points on 6 for 10, 11 boards, even an assist, 1 turnover, and 2 blocks. Great night for Tobe Awaka. We talked about his rebounding as well. And
we talked about it, Kevin. We could have given it to 4 guys tonight, 5 guys tonight. I mean, that's what this team did. They were very even. There was no one like full out dominated the game. There wasn't like a clear cut choice. It was, you know, it really was a team effort.
Yeah, and I do want to give a quick shout, you know, not quite really an honorable mention for player of the game, but I do want to have a conversation about Caleb Love's facilitation. His passing, man.
It was good. Really
like
good.
His defense is leveled up, his passing is leveled up, his overall decision making has leveled up. But the passes tonight out of the pick and roll, the little pocket passes, the little bounce passes, they were perfect on the money every time. Set his big man up for success. And you and I and our friends over at Mikhail Madness have talked all season about how your bigs and your guards without one another are useless.
Yeah.
If your guards can't get the ball to the bigs where they can go to work, useless. If your bigs can't set proper screens and roll the way they need to roll, guards, what are they supposed to do? Right? You're just going to throw 2 guys at them outside the perimeter and it's going to be cooked. I think the synergy between the bigs and the guards is getting really good for Arizona. They don't quite have a go-to offense yet, but when it's working, it's really working. That pick and roll with Veesaar and Love or Veesaar and Bradley is kind of lethal. It really kind of is. And so, yeah, I was really pleased with obviously Jaden Bradley, obviously the rest of the squad, but under talked about, underrated is Caleb Love's passing tonight specifically.
Yeah, Caleb Love, we especially early, Kevin, we mentioned it on, you know, some he was missing some shots early, but he was making up for it by getting his teammates some easy buckets. Coming to mind, in particularly, he had that wraparound pass that was absolutely beautiful for a quick little dunk there, and the steal that he dove on the ground for that loose ball, found a way to get it up to KJ Lewis and get on the fast break. Led to another free bucket there. So yeah, just absolutely Caleb Love. I mean, you're right. Like the shooting hasn't been there this season. Another not great shooting night for him tonight. Rough shooting night. It doesn't matter. He still finds ways to impact the game. He's gotten better at every other facet of his game. And, you know, I think that this is a guy who, you know, when it comes down to it in March, you want him on your team. And honestly, even if he's missing shots, he's still helping the team in other ways. He's bringing attention from the other team's defense. Like Caleb Love is a useful player.
Very useful. And I think, honestly, I'm just going to cut straight to it. this is why you come back and you don't try to go to the pros and just make something happen. Because
You trust Tommy.
well, yes, not only that, but I'm saying if
Sweet
Caleb
Tom.
Love wants to play basketball professionally anywhere, he can't just be a guy that's going to have volume shooting at an inconsistent clip. It has to be, what are you doing when your shot's not falling? And that's been the evolution this season that I've noticed out of Caleb Love. Right now, he has become the complete guard that Tommy Lloyd told him he could be when he committed to Arizona, right? When he transferred here. That is the kind of idea that Tommy Lloyd had, the vision of, hey, Caleb Love, incredible offensive talent, hell of a scorer, but I bet you if I got him here in Tucson, we could turn him into a complete guard. And I think that is finally the evolution we're seeing from Caleb Love. And if you're Caleb Love, this is what it's going to take to get you to that next level that you really want to be at. Because we know Caleb Love loves college. We know Caleb Love loves being the guy in D1, but ultimately the goal is not here, right? The goal is the level above. So if you're Caleb Love, that's the biggest step. And the defense as well. Just overall, man, I'm very, very happy with Caleb Love's development, even though the shots have not been falling.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that, Kevin. And I think you put it great there. Arizona wins tonight, 82-73 against Texas Tech, knocking off number 13, Arizona number 20. Where do you think Arizona gets ranked, Kevin, on Monday? Well, we're obviously, we will usually, the AP poll comes out about an hour before our Monday show. So we'll be interesting to see. I'm gonna guess 14 is gonna be my guess.
All right, so number 1, number 2 both goes down. In Auburn and Duke. I'm
not moving.
No, I'm just
up.
literally going down the list.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So those teams are going to shift down. Houston's probably going to shift back up a little bit. Iowa State,
They're gonna move down.
They're going to move down too.
They're gonna be
St.
outside.
John's is going to move up. They had
Iowa
a
State
huge
will be out of the
victory.
top 10, right? They've got 2 losses since then.
Yeah, 3 losses since then. Well, no, I think I know it was 2. It was 3 overall, 2 since then. You're right. I think Arizona could, and they just beat Texas Tech, who's 13. I think you could see Arizona as high as 13, probably no higher, because now you're talking about St. John's, who just had a huge victory, and I think that the polls are probably going to love St. John's and what Rick Pitino's doing over there. You know what I mean?
In New York City,
yeah.
You think the polls?
Slick Rick and NWC or NYC? Are you kidding me? No. Get out of here. I think you're going to see Arizona in that 13 to 15 range, kind of like what the basketball and football guy here says. We're not too far off with that.
I'm going to go 14. I kind of wanted you to give me a concrete number.
Oh, my bad. Then I'll say 13. I will say 13. I think they take Texas Tech spot.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. We'll monitor that, and I'll gloat in Kevin's face when Arizona's 14th ranked team in the country.
I told you we'd be ranked 1 spot lower.
Damn right.
Dummy.
Damn right. Idiot. You should... Do you even care? Do you even care about this podcast? You should probably quit.
Yeah, you know what, Damon? You're right, dude. If they're not 13, I'm out this door.
Get me a host who takes this gig seriously, please. Can't deal with this. It's amateur hour.
Man, whatever, man.
That's a good. I like that. Can we? This is amateur hour with Kevin and Damon.
I do kind of love that.
Yeah, it's fire.
You kind of cooked there.
I did.
Yeah, you kind of cooked.
Shout out everybody in the chat today, Kevin. You guys crushed it. Chat was on fire. We appreciate all your guys' input and your back and forth. We love having that element provided to the show. Make sure, if you're not already, go follow PHNX_Wildcats on Twitter. We got all kinds of tweets going up, mostly football, basketball related, but we're getting other sports involved too if big news happens.
Softball walk-off today on the run rule.
Yep.
Upset against a ranked team.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
People are talking about it. And of course, that's gonna be the hub. So go give that account a follow. Follow at Kevo Posts, KEVOPOSTS. Follow me at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. And yeah, Kevin, any final thoughts?
Man, I'll wrap it up by saying this. I am beyond excited for the wrap up of this season, Damon. Not because I want it to be over, but because this is going to be a phenomenal basketball to end the season. Arizona controls its destiny heading into the most pivotal time of the season. And that's exactly what you want to see. A game like this, a game like the one against BYU, even to a different extent, the game against Iowa State. Arizona is making statement after statement after statement. And at some point, when people tell you who you are or who they are, you should listen. And we should listen when Arizona plays like a top 10 team in the country, because Arizona might just be a top 10 team in the country. And we will see how the chips fall. But man, am I excited to go gambling with this Arizona Wildcats team.
Arizona is a top 10 team in the country.
Yeah.
And I think by the time the tournament rolls around, Arizona will be about a 3 seed is going to be my guess, right? As of right now, 2-3 seed. I really do think that the Cats are that good. Just kind of, we talked about it right when we took over, Kevin. Everything went against this team early on. And, it just, sometimes that's basketball. That's what happens in sports. Hopefully law of averages, everything goes right for this team in March. And Arizona can make it to the Final Four for the first time since 2001. Basketball and football guy puts in the chat, poor Erica. Yes. Also shout out Erica.
Get well soon.
Would have been on the show with us today, but unfortunately Erica got sick. So we're thinking about Erica and hoping that she hoping she feels better moving forward.
Her and her Victorian era immune system, you know what I mean? Got to get right. Got to take care of yourself.
I love like the little like kind of like animosity like 3-way triangle going on between me, you, and Erica, because when she pops on, usually like someone's getting roasted, but it's like you don't know who.
You never know.
It could be you, it could be me, it could be her.
It's like the Arizona Wildcats offense. It could be JB, it could be KJ, it could be C Love. You never know who's gonna get it, but someone's gonna get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Real quick before we get out of here, I also have one more thing I wanted to say. I wore this hat, right? Cactus hat. Not a coincidence. Wore my cactus hat to, kind of display my cactus dominance over Texas Tech here. And just be like, hey, you guys know what this guy is? No,
I bet you
clue.
don't. Never seen one of those.
No clue. But yes, shout out this hat. Shout out Branded Bills. I heard it's kind of like a big thing when a media member gets a new hat. So I don't know. Just kind of shouting it out. Branded Bills, best in the business. What?
But
best
nothing.
In the biz, Branded Bills. Like I said, follow me at Damon Dog. That's Kevo Posts. We are at PHNX_Wildcats. And we'll catch you next time on a Monday edition at noon on the AZ Wildcats postgame.
We all silly like the mayor.